Um, you guys went back to Melodora's house after the sort of stressful end of the family party and the equally stressful incident with Sahar and Ophelia and the jeweler.
Oh my god, the jeweler.
Yeah, the jeweler. You went back, you talked a little bit, you talked to Torkel about what he wanted you guys to do. Um, and then Adakora talked to Hanalora finally about everything that had happened. She had kind of a similar reaction, basically, like, okay, it's not your job to investigate this. We have some other people who are going to be looking into this further probably, but if you find anything out, you're we would welcome the information. Um and then the next day, you finally got to your third day in town. They didn't say don't. They were like, you don't really have to, but if you want, I guess it's fine.
And we were like, "We
So
are the protagonists.
You're
Please,
like, we're
thank
so
you."
bored.
well, we talked to each other and we were like, yeah, we don't want to investigate this. And then immediately did.
Yeah, that also happened. Yeah. We're like, this isn't a great idea. And then immediately, suddenly you're interrogating people in stores. Um, but yeah, the next morning, you went into the town square to try and see if you could find anything else out about the crime scene. Um, Adakora looked around on the roof of the jewelry shop but didn't really find anything. Ophelia decided she was going to try locate object. And in order to hopefully get a better sense of which direction to go, you decided to guess a direction, just point that way and ask Ayun via augury if that was the correct direction to go. And I must have rolled something because I decided that you picked the right direction. I don't even remember how I decided that. I was listening to it today and I was like, damn, what did I even roll? Um, but yeah, you just happened to point in the right direction. And Ayun was like, yep, if you head that way, you're going to find something. So you cast locate object. You walked a little ways, and it was not far before you caught um, a sense of where the object was. You kept walking. It was past the council meeting building, um, out of the square into the street, and the source of it seemed to be coming from two elves standing very close together, both carrying staffs. One of them you did not recognize. The other one you recognized as Elucis Dewin, a member of the Ring of Three, the ruling elven council of the Seestiel, and a well known wizard and arcane instructor. So you can't tell exactly which of the two of them have pieces of this object that you're tracing, but one of them does, and they are just there talking. So Ophelia, you have like just walked past them, I think, and Timony is a little ways behind you. I don't even know where Adakor went. You were on the roof, but I think you came down to follow them. So I
I'm
think
following
you're
behind.
okay. You're just
I'm
farther
hanging
behind
back
them.
the furthest at this point.
That's what I thought. And you, Sahar decided to stay back at the house because she just feels too conspicuous in this town after what happened last night. Okay, so Ophelia, you have just sort of walked past and caught a glimpse of these people. I'm going to describe the other elf real quick because I have a fan cast for her. So the other elf is significantly younger than DeWin. It's kind of hard to tell how young because you're human and you just don't really know what's up at this point. She looks like she might be in her early 30s, which might mean she's 300, might mean she's 400, hard to say. But she has like light brown skin and short dark hair. She looks like Ashley Birch, but with Ashley Birch's current hair, which is incredible looking.
Nice.
She had that like very like I don't know, early 2000s punk kid, like a ton of hair on one side and very short hair on the other side, and now she just has this like pixie cut with gray in it and it looks incredible. I don't know what's going on, but I'm obsessed. But yeah, they're very sort of deep in conversation and they look quite serious.
I could wear my hair like that.
Yeah, this is the picture I was specifically looking at and thinking of. So her hair's a little bit flatter than in the first picture. It's just kind of every single one of my NPCs is hot. You never have to ask me again. Okay, so Ophelia, you just kind of keep walking past them. What do you guys do?
Um, I think so. Um, is there anything like notable on the person we don't know that like I could eyeball and locate later?
Make a perception check, sure.
Okay. I would guide myself, but that seems kind of suspicious to do.
They might notice. There are wizards.
It's okay, I didn't need it. It was a natural 20.
At least one of them is a wizard. Wow, okay. Yeah, so you sort of are like, okay, I know who this dude is, and you kind of give this woman the once over. She's wearing kind of I don't know. Do wizards just wear robes when they're hanging out in Visayas Teal? Maybe, I don't know. Whatever she's wearing, it's like very comfortable and loose. She's got a staff. I think I mentioned this last time. She has like a very sort of beautifully carved staff. So it's kind of hard to tell if it's decorative, if it's, you know, for walking or if it's for magic. It could be any of these things. We don't have a ton of experience with staves, but I mean, she just has wizard vibes. And she does have a pouch on her belt that you've seen things like this. It could have spell components in it. It's like kind of a weird size to be for money. And it just doesn't quite hang that way. Like it doesn't, whatever's in it isn't necessarily like as heavy as coins. Yeah, if you had to guess, you would say she was a wizard.
Okay.
But you have definitely not seen her before.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, how close do I get when I walk, like, past?
Up to you. How close did you want to pass them?
I don't really know what the picture is, like, if we're walking down the road.
Yeah, you're on a road. I would say the road's like 10 feet wide, maybe. Is that too big? I don't know. 10 feet. It's 10 feet.
That's, on a map it seems kind of narrow, but, like, otherwise it's
But
wide.
yeah, when I actually picture 10 feet, it seems huge. I'm just going to say that. It's 10 feet wide. It's a major road. It's leading off like a big area.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of off to one side. Like, they're not standing in the middle of the road. They're like almost in the front yard of like a little house. So you could be anywhere from like, you could be right next to them. You could be 10 feet away from them almost. It's kind of up to you.
Probably like a normal person, I'll like go to the other side.
Okay. Yeah, they seem very involved in their conversation.
Can I...
They probably like glance at you a little bit, just, you know, the way you glance at someone who walks past you and makes sound, that they aren't, you know, staring at you or anything.
Does what's his face recognize me? Or is he just like, whatever, it's the person?
I guess he did meet you or like see you.
And he
I don't
like
think
interviewed us, didn't he?
He talked to Adakora for a second. I think it was just Adakora though that you guys were all standing in a group and Adakora mentioned the spell out loud, I think. And then yeah, Dewin like jumped into the conversation a little. This is when you were talking to Melidora, I'm pretty sure. In the immediate aftermath of the assassination. So he kind of talked to you guys, but I don't know that you said anything, Ophelia.
I was thinking of the conversation with the Watchmaster. I thought that was him.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was, okay. Yeah. There was a separate conversation with him, like, in his office, the Watchmaster. But he doesn't seem to really recognize you.
Wow, I guess I'm just regular, nondescript. I guess I just fucking suck then. Jesus Christ.
Or if he does, he's not staring at you or anything.
Right. Can I catch anything that they're saying? Can I see anyone's face in order to read? Just like 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, you can read lips, right? Yeah. Or something? Okay. Yeah, I think as you're passing them, Eleusis has his back to you as you approach them. So you could definitely read the woman's lips. To read Eleusis' lips, you'd probably have to like stare back at him over your shoulder, which might be a little...
Yeah.
That might be a little weird. He might be like, why are you staring at me? But yeah, you can see her... she's talking very quietly, but you can get a good enough look at her mouth moving. She just says, do you think they'll send him?
Alright. That's weird.
Kind of what you catch in the little glimpse.
I will keep walking. I'll probably like turn the corner of the nearest like intersection area,
Okay.
and then I'll like try to look around it to find the other people and tell them that it's those fucking two.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Antimony, you see Ophelia walk by. She glances at these two people and she keeps going, and then eventually turns a corner.
Okay. I feel like what I was doing last week is probably what I guess not last week, like 2 weeks ago.
It was a while, yeah.
Um, I think what I might try to do is like get a little closer to them, but in that way of like when you're trying to be inconspicuous and you're just kind of edging yourself towards a group of talking people while pretending really hard that you're like looking at these pretty flowers in the park. Um,
Okay. So are you going to how close are you going to try to get?
um, hmm. I feel like they're probably talking pretty quietly.
They
So,
are, yeah. It's hard to
yeah.
hear them.
I feel like as close as I can get without being like so up in their space that it's kind of obviously hmm. I think yeah, I'll hang back a little bit, but I'll just kind of keep tabs on them from kind of off to the side maybe.
Okay, so you're not going to like follow Ophelia around the corner.
Um, hmm,
Just for,
not yet.
yeah, just for clarification, I'm hoping to tell them pretty quick telepathically that these are the guys.
Oh, sure. Okay. What's the range on that?
60 feet, so I don't know how far.
Okay, yeah, you're probably fine.
Okay.
I don't think Antimony was 60 feet behind you. I don't know if you could hit Adakor though. He's probably too far back.
They'll find a way. I trust them.
Yeah, he'll come into range at some point if he keeps walking. But you could tell Antimony like as soon as you get around the corner probably.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so you hear Ophelia in your mind saying, I don't know what.
The it's those fuckers.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to
There's definitely
I'm
like plants
yeah,
and things in people's yards. If you want to like pretend to admire them, you totally can.
okay. Yeah, I'll get a little closer to the elven wizard crew.
Okay.
While, you know, I feel like I'll keep an eye on them sort of out of the corner of my eye while I pretend to admire somebody's flowers.
Okay. Is your what's your deception bonus? Is it the same as your performance?
Um, my deception yeah, it's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
flat D20s.
Okay. Just performance then.
Okay. 11.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you stop. Someone has like a little apple tree in their front yard. And there are still some apples on it. It's like getting pretty late for apples, but they're very small and they're very cute. So you just kind of pretend to look at them.
Wow, look at those apples.
At a core, what are you doing?
I I don't really want to get closer to this because I feel like it's just getting more and more suspicious.
Maybe. Yeah, Ophelia has disappeared. You can no longer you saw her go around the corner and you can't see her anymore. Antimony is to your eye like very badly pretending not to eavesdrop on these people.
Yeah, I I was thinking of maybe just cutting sideways and cutting through some people's backyards, if there
Okay.
are any.
I don't know if there are backyards because the homes are kind of built up against trees for the most part.
Yeah. Can I get
So I
around the backs of trees?
probably some of the trees are very large. But yeah, you can like yeah, probably. Are you trying to go like behind the house that they're standing in front of
Yeah, well, how
in
many
the
houses is it down to the cross street where I assume Ophelia has gone?
oh gosh, maybe like it's kind of far. I would say they're like 2 houses down, the people who are talking, and then there are maybe like 5 more after that before the corner.
Okay.
And they're not all houses, some of them are other types of buildings, but they're all kind of the same. These are like a little bit larger buildings,
Okay. Hmm.
either kind of big houses or a few of them are shops, things like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get behind the house that they're talking in front of.
Okay, sure, yeah. Make a stealth check.
That rolled out of my tray. That's cocked. So
Oh no.
last time, 25.
All right. Yeah, you feel pretty good about it. The tree that the house is in front of is pretty big. So you're kind of far away. You can't really hear them from where you are. But you can probably see them if you get in like a certain spot.
Okay.
So you can watch them kind of from a distance, but they're talking too quietly for you to hear anything.
Okay. Does there seem to be anyone else in the house?
Make an investigation check.
Not as good. Um, 12? Wait, no. What's 7 plus 5? Is it 12 or 13?
That is 12.
Okay. Then 12.
Yes. 10 plus 2.
I'm good at math. You know this about me.
um I, I sorry. Um yeah, okay. You kind of creep around the house a little bit. Um a chunk of it is back up against the tree, so there's not really any way to look in there. But you come to kind of like a side window. It's actually open a little bit just to let some it's kind of chilly today, but they're just letting in some fresh air, you guess. It's just like the shutter is open, a little crack, and you can peer in. You do not see anyone inside though, in the one room that you can see into. But it kind of looks like a little office of some kind. It's a pretty small room. And there's a desk on the opposite wall and a chair and just like some books and papers piled around.
Ophelia didn't actually tell me that these are the folks, so I don't actually have a reason to
She she can now. You're close enough now that she
Okay.
can, I think. It's up to you.
Um, that would put her also in range for message. Yes.
Message is a farther range, right? Than
I
telepathy.
think so.
It's like 120, isn't it?
I think so, but I wasn't gonna say without checking, and I'm still flipping through my book.
Okay. I think it's 120.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, I'm going to message Ophelia back and say, I'm behind the house. Should I want me to take a look?
These. You think like a magical person planning a coup or whatever isn't gonna like trap their house if this is their house?
Does it look trapped?
Um, I mean, if you want to investigate this window, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Does it look like if I come in through the window, I'm gonna set off an alarm?
Make another investigation check, sure.
Okay. Well, that was a nat one.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna message her. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Okay. As you're kind of investigating and debating whether or not you want to climb into this window, um, the the woman is sort of well, okay, hang on. I'm gonna have Antimony make a perception check to see if you hear anything
Okay.
in your lurking, and then if they notice you, they're gonna react. But you get a little time to listen.
Let's see. Perception. Okay, it's a 13.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear the woman is getting a little agitated. She sounds nervous. She's starting to sound a little angry even. And her voice raises a little bit. And you hear her say, let's see. Um, I don't know who it was, but he's going to expect us to know. And even if it's not, I'm afraid this is going to be used against you. And then uh, the man who you have recognized as Elucis DeWin kind of touches her shoulder a bit and is like, "Hush, I think we should go inside. It's too open out here." And he doesn't look at you, but you're kind of like,
Okay.
Maybe he noticed me, uh, like rustling this apple branch or something. So yeah, so she's like, "All right, let's go inside," and she walks into the house and holds the door open for him, and he goes in and she follows.
Can I hear them going inside?
Yeah.
I duck.
Did you climb into the house, or are you just
No,
standing
I
outside the window?
didn't.
Okay,
I
okay, I
was
didn't
still
think so. I
asking.
didn't think so. I was like, they'd probably go in before you finished looking around.
Yeah, Ophelia hasn't replied to me yet, so I haven't gone in.
Okay. You back. The Elusis and the woman go into the house. You don't see they don't come into the room that you're looking into, Adakora. That room has a closed door that you can see.
Oh, I miss the kobold.
You do not see any kobolds yet, so that's a good sign, I suppose.
Okay. So I'm still waiting to hear back from Ophelia.
What did you
That's the
ask her
message.
again?
I just said it looks like it's fine.
Oh, the house, yeah. The
Yeah.
trap.
It that's not it's not fine. They just oh my god. Um I don't know. Just is there a way to listen in to where like do you know where they are?
Cast message again. I think they just went inside, but they're. Is there another window closer to the that goes into the room that they are in?
There's a window. I mean, there are windows on the front of the house.
Hmm.
There's like one on each side of the door. There's some windows higher up too, in like the loft area, like the second floor area, but you don't know that they went up there. And there's probably a window. The window you're looking into is like the farthest back, closest to the tree.
Hmm.
So there's another one between that window and like the corner of the house. There's another one on this side of the house that's closer to the street. So you could try that one.
Would I know off the top of my head where Elusis lives? Like, is that kind of do the three like live in houses that are special and apart from each other, or would this be like this could easily be either person's house?
I
And
think so. Yeah. Because the Ring of Three, is like a it's an elected position and it kind of rotates.
yeah.
But I don't think it's not like a governor's mansion situation. Like there's not a special house that you live in while
Okay.
you're a member of the Ring of Three. They just kind of keep living wherever they were living before. So yeah, and like this is a it looks like a pretty nice house. It had sort of a study area in it. So yeah, it could be either of their houses, but it definitely, based on what you know about Elusis, it like could easily be his house.
Okay. I will tell Ophelia. There's a window open to the study. They're not in there right now. Could go in and look at the papers, see if there's anything.
Oh, yeah, I heard the dishes.
Ophelia's not being helpful and giving me the answer I want to hear, so I'm gonna message
That
Antonin.
sounds like a really bad idea. That's not fun here.
Hey Tim, there's a window open. It looks like a home office. Nobody's in there. Should I go in?
Hmm. How confident are you in your ability to rob this man's house?
Pass message again. I mean, I wasn't gonna take anything unless it was interesting. I was just gonna look. They don't dust for fingerprints here.
That's true, right? I mean,
I was just gonna look.
there's no forensics in Wild Mouse.
Nope, just magic.
True.
Oh, that is true. It is a wizard's house. Um,
Yeah.
Hang on.
You don't know enough about magical wards, I think, though, to
No, not at
have
all.
a good idea of what might be in here. You just know that the window seemed pretty clear. He didn't see anything obvious
Yeah.
right next to
Um,
the wall.
hmm. Could I actually just check for obvious magical wards first, like cast detect magic on the place?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna use one of my spell slots to cast detect magic.
Okay. You see there is what looks like a piece of silver thread, perhaps, across the door. You
Okay.
don't see it on the windows. Um, and then you see there's some runes kind of glowing like in the walls of the house very faintly. Um, you can't tell. It doesn't seem like they are it doesn't seem like they're, spells that are gonna hurt anything or like blow anything up. It kind of seems like structural, like strengthening spells, like almost part of the architecture of the house itself.
Okay.
So not so much wards, like not like warning or protective magical wards so much as like wards to keep, the house in good shape, to prevent the roof from, flooding, shit like that.
Gotcha.
They're
The
they're
equivalent,
very
yeah,
practical,
insurance.
yeah. It's not like a warning system. But the one over the door, specifically the thread has, I think it's that spell is abjuration.
Okay.
Um,
So probably like an alarm spell or something.
yeah, you know enough to know that's probably what it is. So yeah, if anyone comes to their front door, they will know. But you don't see anything on the windows.
Okay. I'll tell Adakora the front door is alarmed, but you could probably get through the window.
I think the architects and the wizards work together, honestly. Like I think there's a lot of slightly magical architecture in Visayas Teal. That's what I'm getting from the canon detail about the roads anyway. I'm extrapolating from that.
I do love the idea that like is Teal just become like public works
Basically.
employee.
Yeah. Well, Matt was like, all the road. I mean, the book was like, all the roads are, magically enchanted to be warm, so the snow just melts on them. And I was like, that's incredible. Like, obviously, they do that with all of their buildings. But I don't know. That seems like it would require some, civil engineering and
I mean, like,
stuff.
I'm sure, right, that there is at least one wizard out there who's interested in civil engineering.
There's gotta be, yeah. And Visayas Steel, like, it was, built by refugees. Like, they wanted it's an unforgiving climate. I think they cared a lot about making everything as like sturdy as possible and just having high quality shelter and stuff. I don't know. They have more architecture wizards than anywhere else.
Hmm. Ironically, antimony should probably work in Visayas Steel rather than anywhere else.
I mean, there's always Hupperduke if you want to make weapons.
Poor Clef Tinkertop, who just wants to make
I
robots.
know. He just wants to make little robots.
Yeah,
But
this does seem
that's
like a
the
bad idea, but I am gonna try to climb in
hell
the window
yes.
quietly.
Okay. Make a stealth check. I love this.
I don't know what I'm gonna say if they catch me. And I didn't
Antimony's
roll
just
well.
Antimony's just filming you.
11.
Oh boy. Okay.
I didn't do it. I didn't roll well.
Yikes, man. All right. Yeah, you climb in. It goes pretty well at first. You're very tall. The window's not so high that it's like really tough to get through it or like to get up into it, but it's like a little bit narrower than it looks. Like you're kind of you get like halfway through and you're like, "Oh shit." Um and you kind of have to be it like takes a while to get all the way through. Um and one of the shutters like slams against the outer wall. Like you have to open both of the shutters pretty wide to get all the way through. And one of them just like hits the wall and you freeze for a second. um, but you don't hear anything after a moment, so you keep going. And you do eventually make it into the room. You don't
Okay.
like fall on your face or anything.
So, does it sound like anybody's coming down the stairs or coming to the door?
Um, yeah, if you stand there for a little while, you can hear footsteps approaching the doorway.
Oh, fuck. Um, hmm. Uh,
Jump back out.
uh, that might be the best thing to do, honestly. Is it possible to get back out the window fast?
I mean, I don't know. It took you a while to get in,
Is
but
there
that
anywhere to
was just
hide?
that was kind of just flavor. So you can try if you want. You could hide under the desk. The desk is like against the same wall as the door. So if you were under the desk, like somebody standing at the door probably wouldn't see you.
This is so dumb. I'm not invisible or anything.
Nope. Yeah, the shutters were open a little bit, like kind of a crack, and he had to open them all the way. It's yeah, the shutters are like swinging open, which is probably what this person heard.
Well, I'm gonna try to get back out.
Okay.
Like
Um,
a-
okay, do you want to prioritize let's see. I'm trying to think what to if I want to make you roll dexterity or stealth. I guess probably dexterity. If you're trying to get out like as fast as possible.
well, if they hear me getting out, that's still not gonna help me that much.
That's true. Okay, yeah, just make another stealth check.
We're not gonna die. I'm just gonna say something
No.
stupid. Oh my god.
These wizards
Terrible.
are gonna kill you on the spot.
9.
Oh my god. Yeah, kind of the same thing happened. You're like, fuck, this window is too fucking narrow. Um,
Well, Ophelia will get to say I told you so.
you broke into Lucis DeWitt's house. um, yeah, you're like halfway out that window. You think you're being pretty quiet, but the door opens. You hear someone's like, I think the window blew open. You kind of hear outside, and then the door opens, and the woman walks in and it just sort of stops and is staring at you. She's just shocked.
Can I keep going?
Hang on. I don't have character sheets for these people, so I'm just gonna make up some spells I think they might have. Use a wizard spell. Hang on, let me check something. It is a wizard spell. Okay. Make a if you're gonna try to keep going, you gotta make a wisdom save.
Okay. That's not my strong point. Yeah, I
Oh
actually have
god.
a -1 to wisdom save. And I rolled a 9, so that's an 8.
Oh no.
Okay, you try to keep going out of this window, but the woman um reaches into this pouch on her belt and she pulls out something. It just looks like a little straight piece of metal. Um and she waves it in the air and she says something, um and then you can't move all of a sudden. You
Ah,
feel yourself like stiffen up. You can't move. You're still sort of halfway out the window. The woman keeps staring at you for a second. She's kind of looks like she's trying to figure out who you are, but she has no idea. Just cannot figure out who you are, why you would be in this room. And then she sort of doesn't take her eyes off you, walks backwards out of the door and calls, "Elusus, can you come in here for a moment?" "Yes, of course." You hear him call from the other room, and he walks into the room and stops at the door, also surprised. Um, "You look familiar." He's sort of squinting at you.
Save yourselves.
"I spoke to you yesterday, right after." His eyes kind of narrow. Hmm. God, can you talk if you're under hold person? I feel like you probably can. Oh no, you can't. You're paralyzed. You cannot speak. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look like he took anything. He looks at the woman who's just kind of shrugs. Elusus walks over and sort of pulls you into the office. like dislodges you from the window, and like kind of lowers you to the ground. He doesn't drop you. He's like stronger than you might have guessed. But you're just kind of lying on the ground, paralyzed, in the same like weird position that you were in as you were trying to climb out of the window. Um, and Timothy, you could probably see this happen. Like
Oh god.
You saw Adakora jump inside. He was in there for like maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds. And then you saw him sort of emerge back out, and then you saw him freeze, and
All
then
back.
be yeah, just sort of disappear back into the window, and then you see the shutters close all the way this time. Ophelia,
Ah,
you have no idea what's going on.
ah, ah, okay, I'm gonna try and find Ophelia. In
Okay.
a panic.
I assume, Ophelia, you're still wherever you were.
Terrible.
I'm sorry. I forgot you weren't having the sound on. I have not been looking at the Discord. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah, you sent a telepathic message to Adakora. He does not respond. And then Antimony comes like, are you running? Are you trying to be casual? What are you doing?
I feel like I'm power walking.
Okay, Antimony comes power walking around the corner looking stressed out.
Just a casual Basaya steel jogger. It's
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yep. You're wearing a canteen
Yes.
and like a visor.
Yeah. Okay, well, Atticor is dead. No. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Oh man.
Um, no, but I will be like, okay, yeah, yeah, so, they definitely caught him. Um, I really don't know what I expected, but we did it for the Vine, and the Vine won.
Sometimes the vine wins.
D&D version of Jesus Christ.
Like knowing
Um,
mistress.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna hopefully you'll be able to talk soon. I'm just gonna switch back to the other conversation.
My comfort. No, stay with them.
Ophelia's not talking out loud.
Oh my god. I'm not smart.
Okay. Yeah, so you're just sort of lying on the floor in the middle of this. It's a pretty small room. It's just like a little office. The woman is standing in front of the closed study door, with her arms crossed. She looks she's like a little freaked out, a little puzzled. She just has no idea what's going on. Um, the man closes the shutters, or Elusus, you know who he is, closes the shutters and like latches them shut, and also like stands in front of the window. And then he sort of motions to the woman, and she, you can't see her because you're facing the opposite direction. But she does something presumably, and the spell drops. You can move.
Hey.
Sorry. I'm the worst. I
The
just always
window's
laugh at
closed.
everything you guys say. Okay. Um Elise is just sort of glaring down at you a little, uh frowning. He has these kind of bushy gray eyebrows. They make him look a little bit threatening.
Well,
I didn't I see you yesterday? You spoke to me about the spell that was used in the attack. Who are you?
I'm
What are you
just
doing here?
I cannot think of anything, so I'm just not gonna say anything.
Oh man. Um okay, so you just are quiet, lying on the floor.
Yeah, I'm playing dead. um, just can't think of anything. Um, I'll sit up and uh show that my hands are empty because I didn't steal anything. I actually have not stolen anything.
I know. Yeah, they can tell.
Worst rogue.
Yes, I can see that you didn't take anything. Though I can't imagine what you would find of value in Mistress Aethra's office.
Mistress, this is me asking you.
Oh, Aethra.
Ithra.
I will post it. Not unless you're a wizard yourself, but I don't get that impression. The woman says, I've never seen this person before in my life.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Well, what are you doing here? She says.
To be honest, I was going to rob you. But at this point, it's looking like my goose is cooked, so.
You should have picked a different room.
Eh, this was the one where the window was open. If it helps, I'm very sorry I tried.
You should be. What were you after? Anything in particular?
Uh, no. God.
You're a very bad thief.
You're both taking this exceptionally calmly.
Well, says Elusus, you haven't done anything to threaten us so far.
Well, like you said, I'm not a wizard.
We do have a great deal of resources at our disposal. So, do you want to tell us what exactly you're doing here, or do you want us to hand you over to the Crown's Guard?
Cora, like, neither.
Is there a version of this where I don't have to talk to any Crown's Guard?
Yes, the version where you tell us what you're actually doing here.
Does he seem like he's telling the truth?
Make an insight check.
Oh my god. None of my dice are rolling today.
Oh no.
3.
Oh my god. He seems extremely sincere.
Cool. I need to test out some other dice because this is not it. Oh my god. I can't roll today. I just
Why don't we start with your name?
this would be a great moment to cut to the other two so I can think.
No. Throw your sister under the bus. Julie, can you talk now?
Yeah.
Okay, we can switch back over then. For a second. What are you two doing? How are you reacting to this turn of events?
So,
We have decided.
have been coming up with a plan. We considered, first of all, setting off fireworks several houses down to cause a distraction.
Oh my god.
But the potential for harming other citizens has made us reconsider. And I have decided that I have a feature called magical tinkering where I can touch a tiny object and make it continuously emit an odor or a sound.
Oh boy.
So we're just gonna throw a screaming pebble into the house and see how that goes.
Okay. Where are you gonna throw it? Are you gonna try to open the window into the study? Or are you gonna try to open a different window?
Maybe a window on like the other side of the house.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you are you guys gonna try to be sneaky as you skulk around somebody's house?
I suppose we
guess.
can be mildly sneaky, yeah.
Yeah, I think the intention after we throw it is just to like run.
Awesome. Okay, so you make a stealth check for just like getting up to the window, both of you.
I will guidance myself, because. Antimony, are you a good sneaker?
How good am I at sneaking? I'm okay at sneaking.
On a scale of like 1 to 5?
I am a 2.
Okay, I'm a 1, so I will guide myself. Maybe I shouldn't go with you.
Okay, I rolled pretty good, so it was a 17 plus 2, so 19.
I rolled a total of 5.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, Antimony gets up there, no problem. Doesn't make any noise. Ophelia like steps on a bunch of twigs while crossing the lawn.
Oh no.
How did you miss those twigs? Impossible to say. They were right there in the grass. What are you pasting in? Oh, is this your conversation in the
Yeah.
chat?
This is our conversation.
Hello, our friend is in there.
Oh God.
You all get arrested and Melodora has to come bail you out of jail.
Not looking forward to that.
Okay, all right, so yeah, you make it up to the window. Ophelia, you make entirely too much noise, you think. Nobody seems to have noticed immediately, like no one's walking towards you or anything. There aren't a lot of people on this street right now.
Are we like getting super close to it, or are we like chucking it
Well,
towards?
you're gonna have to open one of these windows up because all of the windows are shuttered.
Oh.
It was just the study window that was open, and that has been closed now. So, one of you is gonna. I'm just gonna have somebody make a sleight of hand check. I think to, like it's there. The windows are probably. You think they're probably just latched from the inside, like they don't have a lock or anything on them. So you can try to like stick something through and like get the latch open.
We should have sent the crab in.
It's not going to be too hard.
Okay, so a sleight of hand check, right?
Yeah, you're not like picking an actual lock. You just kind of have to jimmy this thing open. Which is good because none of you are actually know how to pick locks.
I'll guide you.
Okay. And guidance is plus a d4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. 15.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. You stick something in there. I don't know. You have a narrow piece of metal with you. You have all sorts of
Probably.
random like weird shit with
Kind
you.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
Scrap metal.
You definitely have some scrap metal. Yeah, so you just kind of stick it between the two halves of the shutters and pop it open, and the shutters swing open. You're looking into sort of a kitchen area, and you don't see anyone.
Okay. I'm going to so this is a kitchen area. Do they have like any utensils around, like a cup or something?
Sure, yeah, there are. It looks like two people were maybe just sitting in here drinking something
Okay.
and stepped away. There are two cups sitting on a table.
I will take one of these teacups. Or I'm assuming they're teacups. They're probably some kind of.
Yeah, I'll say they're tea. There's still tea in them.
Okay. Cool.
They're sort of like wooden, I think. Can you make wooden mugs? I feel like you can. I don't know.
Probably. Sure. Just steal.
Steal their kitchenware.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is kind of dip my finger in this tea and then draw my little rune or whatever on the side of the teacup. In like
Yes.
staining the wood
Oh
and
my
just
god.
make it enchanted to just start yelling.
Incredible.
And then I want to get out of the window.
Okay. So do you just like set it back on the table? Or do
Um,
you throw it into the room? What do you do with the teacup?
I'll chuck it. Yeah.
Okay.
I will throw the screaming teacup.
Which is still full of tea?
Yes.
Okay. I love this. Um, okay, yeah, you draw a little rune on the teacup, it starts screaming. Honestly, it's like you're a little surprised by how loudly it's screaming, and you just sort of like instinctively throw it away from you
Yeah.
into the kitchen. It goes there's like an arc of tea that just like spills out of it as it flies, and it lands somewhere on the other side of the room, still screaming. Do you guys just kind of run for it?
Well, I make a hasty escape. Yeah.
Okay. How far are you guys gonna go?
Um, as far as I can get.
All right. So you both just book it. Yeah, Sahara's. Yeah, she's probably taking a nap, practicing fencing. I don't know.
Atakora, you're a rogue. We just gave you a distraction. Take advantage of it, or
Okay, so the girls book it. There's screaming coming from inside this house. You see a couple of people like poke their heads out of other houses nearby, or like people kind of turn to look at the sound
Oh my
because
god.
it's still kind of audible from. It's just like this sort of quiet sound, but it's weird. The weird thing about this screaming is that it doesn't stop. Like if a person screamed, you would expect it to stop after a little while, or even like if they screamed multiple times, there would be breaks. But no, it's just this unending sound. So people are kind of looking, taking notice. Meanwhile, Adakora, um, Elusis says, "How about we start with your name?" And is just looking down on you very sternly. And then all of a sudden, you hear screaming from the other room.
I will look startled, which is genuine because
They,
this is not me.
yeah, Elusis and Aether look at each other, and Aether's, "There's no one else here. They're not home." And she sort of runs into the other room. Elusis stays where he is and keeps an eye on you. But he kind of has his staff. Um, he looks ready to do something if he needs to. And Aether kind of you hear her footsteps like running through the house, and then you hear her yell something, and then the noise stops. How long does the effect last? I'm just curious.
let me check. I
Is it a magical effect? What is it specifically?
um. Oh, it lasts indefinitely.
Oh, right. You have to end it? Holy shit.
Oh my god.
It's okay. Does it count as a magical effect?
I think
I
so.
think okay. They could dispel it. That's what I'm trying to.
Probably, yeah. I imagine that it would be dispellable of in some way otherwise.
That seems wild. Yeah, like it just keeps screaming unless you specifically stop it. Nothing else can stop it. Oh my
No one
god.
can stop his scream.
Okay, yeah, you guys are a ways away, and you could still faintly hear the screaming, and then it stops all of a sudden, and you're like, "That wasn't me."
Yeah, not us.
I guess they found him.
Him, the cup. Okay, yeah, so the screaming suddenly stops. You hear Ithra sort of swearing loudly in the other room. And then she comes back in and she's holding a wooden mug, basically. And she points to something on the side of it. Elusus takes a look and his brow furrows even more. All right. Now listen to me, young man. And he turns back on you and he has sort of like a teachery voice going.
I will
Um,
stand up.
you're taller than him.
Oh no.
Well,
Yeah, you are still being scolded, but you are taller. It makes you feel a little better. He does not seem phased, however.
no,
Um,
I wouldn't expect that.
if you have a good explanation for all of this, perhaps we can avoid telling the Crownsguard anything. Depends on what you have to say. If you maintain that you were simply breaking into my colleague's house to rob her of any valuables you could find, then I'm afraid we will have to call the Watchmaster.
I
This
don't
is
have a good explanation for that. And I point to the mug. Because I don't.
he sort of
And I'm
points
not
out
sure. Hmm?
he holds it up to you and he points to you can see like very very faintly a sort of wet spot on the mug that's in like a little rune shape. It's some sort of magical effect, not one I'm familiar with.
I've never seen Antimony do that, so I
No,
genuinely
yeah,
don't know.
you don't recognize it, but he's like it's
I
somebody did magic on this mug who is not us and threw it in here. Do you know anyone who might have wanted to cause a magical distraction on your behalf? No,
This is all so
nobody.
stupid. I mean, at this point, it goes against everything in me to just tell the truth.
I know. Listen, these guys are so powerful. I didn't even make character sheets for them. Like you're never gonna fight them.
No, no, definitely not. But
Unfortunately, they can't cast Stone of Truth. They cannot learn it. Tragically, I checked. I don't think it's a wizard spell, but I have to look, and it is not a wizard spell.
I don't have a lot of good answers for you, but I do have questions that I think we could answer together if you can give me a good reason why the glass found at the scene of yesterday's attack led to you. And I look at Aethra.
Okay, wait, I'm trying to remember who knows about the glass. You guys told Melidora about the glass.
We told Melodora, we did not tell the cops.
Right.
But
She
we heard
definitely
Melodora, so we told the
the
cops, but not the
one.
grounds guard
Yeah.
master.
But I think she did tell the Watchmaster because she was like, did she tell him about the glass? I don't know.
Wait, we might
Oh
have
no, it was
mentioned.
later. It was later that you said because you said you had seen someone. That's right. Like the right after
Yeah,
it
yeah,
happened.
we didn't mention the glass.
Yeah. Until like yesterday,
But
last
Elusive
night.
knows that I was there, and
Yes. He knows you recognized the spell.
yeah,
Because that's what you told him. I mean, you didn't recognize the spell. It was Ophelia.
yeah,
You were the one who like mentioned the spell in front of him.
yeah.
But okay, but I think Melidora, you did tell Melidora about the glass at some point, but it was not right after the event. It was later that day, I think.
I'm not sure if we did because we wanted to keep it and not turn it over to anybody.
I think you told her that you had found it, and then she went and looked and didn't find any. Like you might not have told her that you had kept it or something.
I feel like we just told her we saw someone
Okay.
and where, and then she was like, "Well, we went there and we didn't find anything because we'd already taken the glass."
Okay. Yeah, maybe I don't
Maybe
know.
we told her about the glass. I don't remember.
I have
be
a memory of you telling her about the glass, but
Okay.
I don't. I don't know. Now I don't know.
Well, we're the only ones who know that we kept it at the
Yeah.
very least.
Oh, for sure. I don't think she knows you have it. The glass. He looks at Ithra. You mean the material components of the spell cast on the Starosta? You have them. No, he's talking to you, Adakora.
He's talking to me.
Yeah, like the ones specifically found it, like the ones used in the you have them, is what he's asking.
I found them.
That would explain why the guard found nothing. You are working with someone then.
I could call them in here and we could talk.
I think we'd better wait. It might attract attention. I'm sure the screaming has already. Well, people definitely heard that. In any case, someone that you're working with has the glass that was used to cast the spell itself.
Would those components be the same for every spellcaster in the city? And I don't mean, as I'm saying that, not like you have to use the same ones, but like they'd get from the
Yeah.
place. Is what I mean by that.
Yeah. Not in every case, but he looks at Ithra, who's like, her eyes are real big. You're saying the components used to cast that spell, was it a locate object? What? Is that what led you to me?
I am not a wizard. Again, I'm not a wizard.
Yeah,
Not a wizard.
you just
Not
have
a
a sort of blank
spellcaster.
look on her face, and she's like, "That's probably what it was." Um, she she takes the pouch that she's wearing on her waist, and she sits at the desk and just like dumps everything out onto the desk and kind of is going
Oh,
through it. There's a lot of weird shit in here.
yeah.
Um,
I look here. I look over curiously.
yeah,
Hang on.
you don't really know a lot of wizards. Ophelia
Really?
doesn't really use components because she has her holy symbol. And I don't think Antimony uses components either, really. So
I
this is
kind
kind
of
of
enchant objects mostly.
right. Yeah, so this is kind of new to you. There's a lot of like weird little yeah, a lot of weird little things here. Some shiny things, some bug pieces, little pieces of cloth and plants. And she takes a separate little bag, eventually, like a separate tiny little drawstring bag, and opens it and dumps some glass shards out onto her hand.
Do they look the same as the ones that we found?
They look similar enough. I don't think they were. a- We'll say they're like the same color or something. I don't remember how I described that glass, except that it was a sort of curve, like maybe it was a bowl. Yeah, we'll say it had like a little. There was like a little stripe of color running through the glass, and this one seems like it has the same kind of thing. Like some of the pieces have a little dark blue stripe running through them. It's
I point finger guns.
this came from my she's not even looking at you at a court. She's looking at Elusis from the storeroom in my office from the collection that I keep. The only people who have access to that are my students. I suppose someone else could have broken in, but another another wizard would have their own place to get components. Elusis looks very solemn. Um,
Do you mind if I try to contact my colleagues so they don't throw any more screaming mugs through your window?
he looks back at you. As long as you can do it without leaving this building.
I will see if anyone's in range for message.
Okay. Yeah, they're not letting him out.
Like they're so. I could run, but what good would it do? They can do hold
Yeah.
person all day.
Yeah, that's a level 2 spell.
uh,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, try to cast message.
120 feet, trying to get to
120.
it.
You can probably get him. It's more fun if you can, so go ahead.
They just kept running the whole time. They're out of the city.
Yeah, they're like, we are not coming back. We're just leaving Atakora there. If he gets out, great. If not, that's his problem.
Cause a distraction with more due diligence, so it's all up to you now.
God, yeah, Sahar just gets left there and like Melidor and Kalina like adopt her. They're like, I guess you can stay here. We don't know where anyone else went.
Okay. I'll cast into Antimony because there's no way I'm giving Ophelia a chance to be smug at me right now. um, So this one is gonna get messy. I don't think I'm getting out of here. So far, so good. We'll message you again soon. Are you guys okay?
Um, okay. So I don't know how far away we are at this point, but
You're completely lost. Is it one of those suburbs where you can't go around the block without getting lost?
I think it's just weird. Like you guys are used to I mean, I guess it's a little different for Ophelia because she grew up mostly not in cities, but the cities she saw were on the Menagerie Coast. I feel like Dwendalian cities are kind of, especially Druvenlode is like a little more planned out. They have a little more of like not really a grid, but it's a little bit more even. And in Besays Teal, it's just like they sort of built roads around the trees around like the biggest they had to get rid of some probably, but the biggest trees were sort of what they built roads around, so everything's very sort of free form. But I think you can find your way back. You didn't get too far.
okay. Um, yeah, I'll just be like, well, the cops haven't caught us, so everything seems okay. Um, hmm. What what do we do?
Um, I cast message again. Sit tight and decide how honest you want to be about why we're here.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'll be honest, like, why are we here? We're just kind of hanging out. We're just investigating this because we're the protagonists and we
I
feel
know,
that
that's what
we
makes it
should.
hard.
Nobody has
Out of
sent us. There's
character. Like, out of character, like, I'm not supposed to tell them I'm from the Cobalt Soul. But here's the thing: that's that's the lightest. That's the only possible justification we have for
That's
doing any of
true.
this. So, so at this point, it might get us out of trouble. But anyways, I believe again, we've gone over this before, but I like to confirm it. When I cast message, what I say is only audible to the person I'm casting to. Yes?
I believe so.
Yeah. Which doesn't mean they can't read lips necessarily, I guess, but
They can also tell you're casting message. Like they
well,
probably
yeah.
don't
I mean, I
know
asked
what you're saying,
because I
but
didn't want to like,
yeah,
like,
I
what
don't
are
think
you doing?
no, they can't hear you,
Strike
that's
out
for
the
sure.
lawyer, Mister.
Yeah. What are you yeah.
It just, it's a bad look to in front of someone be like, "Does that how honest we're gonna be?"
Hey, should we tell these guys the truth? I don't know.
But they can't hear that.
They cannot know. They're like, he's so bad at this.
He's so bad at this. Woof. This is possibly the worst it's ever gone for him.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Are they still talking about what are they talking about? What are they doing?
Ithra has the Wizards are the Mighty Nine and Mutantes. um, the yeah, she's still sitting at her desk, looking pretty shaken up. She has put the glass back into its bag and is just sort of staring down at her spell components. Um, Lucius looks worried at this point. He comes over and like puts a hand on her shoulder. Um, is there anyone that you think it might be? I know none of them seem capable of this, but have you noticed anything? Is there any reason that one of them might be more likely to get involved in something like this? If we can find out who they are before the Crown's Guard find out, before the Starosta finds out, maybe we can at least figure out why. Maybe there's some mitigating circumstance. I don't know, but all of your students are very young. I don't want any of them to be. Let's just see what we can find out, all right? I don't know. I can't. I don't think any of them would. What reason would they have? They're just. I'll think about it. Just give me a moment, Lucis. She kind of wipes her eyes a little bit. Lucis looks back at you, Adakora. So, what else do you know?
Not much so far.
And who are you
Vague
working
idea
for?
of numbers and positions where they were when the attack happened, and that's about it.
I mean, I know that as well. I got that information from the Crown's Guard and from the Watchkeepers. Did they get it from you?
Did they?
I mean, they got the position of the caster from you, yes, via Melodora.
Right,
You are the
right.
anonymous source.
The cast. Yeah. I'm trying to think like because we haven't talked about the jewelry shop, the jeweler shop. Have we?
Like among yourselves or to anyone
Among
else?
ourselves, but not to anybody else.
No, you have not told Melodora about the jeweler shop.
Yeah.
Because you like talked about that and then you went to bed.
Yeah.
Well, you talked to Hannelore, but you didn't tell her anything about that either. Not about the jeweler, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Um
But yeah, Melodora knows that someone was seen and then turned invisible, and she knows roughly where they were. And the other, based on the invisibility thing, you know that the wizards kind of were probably able to figure out that there were two people involved just because of the spell mechanics. Like Ophelia figured that out too.
Yeah.
So you're pretty sure they've got that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
That there are at least two people involved, both spellcasters. Yeah.
We have a contact with the Watchkeepers.
And are you looking for information on their behalf? Did the Watchkeepers send you to track down the source of this glass?
Um, I don't think it will surprise you to learn that the Watchkeepers would not have sent me.
No, it doesn't really surprise me. But if they didn't send you, then who did? Well, you talk like you're from around here, but maybe like you haven't been here in a while. You have a Visayas Teal accent, but sort of covered with something else.
We're not really investigating on anyone's behalf. We're, I imagine, investigating for the same goal as you, to keep as much peace in the city as possible.
I see. Why are you here in the city?
Uh, that's a long story.
But you don't live here, not anymore.
No.
You were with some people who did not seem like locals, as I recall. Yesterday in the square. Is that right? Are they helping you with this?
Well, I look at the book again. Helping.
Well, I'm sure they're doing their best. He looks at the mug again. I've really never seen anything like this. Yeah. He's like, the screaming mug was actually pretty ingenious.
That's right. I'm a genius.
Amazing. Um, if you spent any time living here, if you grew up here, perhaps, then you, of course, have some idea of the layers of politics that take place in Visayas Teal. You know something of the tensions. But there are aspects to it that most people who live here are not aware of. I'm afraid that if word reaches certain people in the Empire that a wizard from Visayas Teal tried to assassinate the Starosta appointed by the king. Things could get more unpleasant than they already are. It would be best if this could be dealt with quickly and with those Imperial agents who are already living in Basseus Teal. You're not getting an orb at level 4.
I don't think we're getting an orb from the guy who saw me break into his house at all.
Also,
Yeah.
Lucius would know that the orb was cursed. Like, he would not give you a fucking.
It's justice.
Yeah, okay, maybe
Broke in
that
my
was.
house here.
he
Have an
might.
orb. Definitely not curse.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, wait until you're like asleep on a cold night and you can't sit next to the fire because it keeps going out. Everyone else kicks you out of the fireplace area so that they can sleep next to the fire and you have to go lie by yourself in the cold.
I will say, with all due respect, sir, it was in light of those complexities that we have endeavored not to give all of our information to any one party.
And why should I believe that you'll act responsibly with this information? All I know about you is that you tried to break into my colleague's house. We're not very irresponsible.
Well, you could think of it this way. You don't have to trust me or any of us, but we did just give you some information you didn't have. And we could find a mutually beneficial way forward.
That's true. You're obviously very observant, given that you managed to come across the material components for the spell before anyone else, and that you knew what they represented, or one of your friends did. And one of them was able to find Mistress Aethra here. I think we can work together. Just know that if I believe you are a danger to this city, the delicate balance of power here, I will not hesitate to do what I think is right for my people.
Understood.
we had better talk to your friends as well. They must be, well, they were nearby 10 minutes ago, I suppose. Do you know how far they've gone?
I would bet not far. I'm like, well, I told them to sit tight, so it's like a 50-50 on whether they listened to me.
Right. They may not have. Um, I think things have probably died down enough outside. Why don't you call them here? Just tell them to knock on the door.
Um, I will cast message to Antimony. All right, they're ready to meet you. They say you can knock on the door. We're gonna try to work together on this. They have more information about the glass, so that should get Ophelia excited.
Hmm. Okay. What are we telling them?
That's Jan. I haven't told them my name or who we represent.
Okay.
Uh,
Fake names. Got it.
Oh, God.
no, I didn't say that.
I'm Jessica Haircut.
I think anonymity is best here.
Oh, man.
But I've been pretty honest about the information we have so far. Sorry that happened. End message.
Okay. I'll tell Ophelia that the wizards know something about the glass, and apparently they would like us to beat them.
Knock on the door.
This sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does.
I guess we have to go or they'll like murder him.
I guess.
Alright, well, he's been talking to you, so you should lead, obviously.
Very well. I shall I shall knock on the door.
Okay. As they're walking back after you send all of your messages, are you still like no, you're standing up. I was like, are you still
Yeah,
standing?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Lucis sort of ushers you into the kitchen. All right, we better clean up in here a little bit and make some more tea. He kind of survey. There's like you go into the kitchen and there's just like a long splash of tea across the floor. And then there's another cup that matches the one that was screaming, sitting on a table, still untouched. Olusus, waves his hands, and the tea uh, disappears from the floor. There, now nobody will slip. Here, come help me.
Grandfather energy.
And he sort of like makes you come help him make more tea. He just like hands you stuff while he's making
God.
the tea. He's like, hold this.
Community service. It could be worse.
And Aithra comes back in after a little while. She's like kind of, straightening her robes and stuff. Um, and she goes to the door to like fix the alarm spell and sort of waits. And then you hear a knock as you guys are making tea. And Aethra opens the door. And Timmy and Ophelia, you see the hot elf lady from earlier open the door. She looks upset, but she kind of smiles. It's a little awkward. She like tries to smile at you, but you can tell she's unhappy about something.
The screaming teacup.
You're like, maybe, yeah, you don't know what else has happened. So you're like, wow, that screaming teacup really got her, huh?
They're so polite. I broke into this woman's house.
She has bigger worries now, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I was hoping would happen when I moved.
she sort of smiles at you. Are these your friends? And she looks in at Adakora.
Mistress Aethra, Elusus de Win, my colleagues.
All right, Aethra beckons you both in. And closes the door behind you. You are in a kitchen. It is very nice. It's a little bigger than Melidora's kitchen. And you see Adakora being sort of strong-armed into helping Elusus de Win make more tea. He turns and looks at you, Elusus, and he nods kind of solemnly, and he says, "All right, sit down." It's half polite, half like an order, basically. And he gestures at the kitchen table, which has now only one cup of tea sitting on it.
I look at Ophelia. I say, "Show them the glass."
I'll take it out, I guess.
Okay, Aethra goes and sits at the table with you, and looks at the piece of glass.
It,
It's from a bowl. My daughter dropped it, so I just took it in to use as spell components. She puts it back on the table and like takes out her pieces of glass. And is just sort of staring at it all.
is that like all of it? Or is there like missing parts? Or like
It was bigger than this. I mean, I just put it in the drawer with the rest of the glass. I teach magic. And I have a collection of basic components. things that I lend out to my students for lessons. They're welcome to take what they need for their own practice. There's a little drawer full of them in my office.
Do you... And just to, like, be clear, you didn't, like, try to assassinate the... Like, that wasn't you?
She just laughs a little bit. No, it wasn't me.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
What's my modifier?
Pretty good, I think.
Perception. 14.
Yeah, she seems totally truthful.
Okay. Okay, so do you only teach, like wizard stuff?
Yes, that's all. I've had one or two sorcerer students in the past, but none right now.
So then maybe some graduates?
I don't know why they would have been in my office going through my components. Anyone who's still studying has access to their own supplies, their teachers' stores.
That's true. How much do we all know about everything? I like look at Adokora really hard.
Adakora, you've been handed 2 mugs of tea and instructed to bring them to the table.
I do so. What are you asking? Are you asking how much?
Like, what's the knowledge here that like everybody is operating on? Like, do you know that there was a sorcerer involved, or that?
Are you asking the wizards?
Yeah.
Elusive sits down. He puts a mug of tea in front of you. And he says, well, there must have been. Almost anyone could have cast the spell that actually injured your friend. It's the invisibility that's the trick. Are you wearing your, like, symbol of Ioun visibly?
Probably, because it has to be visible to, like, cast spells and stuff.
I mean, you could, like, put it in a pocket and then take it out to cast, but I figure
Yes.
you're just kind of wearing it.
It's just like a necklace, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he kind of clocks your holy symbol. He's like, I expect you already know something about this. In order to cast a spell while invisible, with the basic level of invisibility that would break the spell, you would become visible. For someone to turn invisible and then cast a spell would have to be greater invisibility, which requires concentration.
And the
As
knife spell
such.
is also concentration.
Yes. So our caster could not have maintained the daggers and the invisibility on by themselves at the same time, which means someone else cast the invisibility. And since that level of invisibility typically requires touch to cast it upon a target, well, that's beyond a wizard's abilities to extend the range of a spell. But there are sorcerers who are capable of it.
I don't remember if we knew whereabouts the other. Oh, right, on the roof, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, that is what the jewelry man told you. That there was somebody on his roof.
Right. Should we, like, mention that? I don't know. Like.
That's up to you.
Okay, so a wizard and a sorcerer. And
That seems the most likely. Sorcerers. It could have been two sorcerers, I suppose, but they're much rarer than wizards.
that's true. But they also have your spell components, so they're probably a wizard if you don't have sorcerers right now.
No, not currently, says Isla. I think it must be one of my current students. Unless someone else took the components from the office to try to frame me, to try to frame one of my students. That seems overly complicated.
Just like out of curiosity, do you know the name of the guy who runs the jewelry store thing up there?
What? She says.
Like where the spell was cast, it was like in front of her jewelry store, I guess. Do you know who that is? I like kind of describe what he looks like.
Devil. She looks at Elusis, who's kind of also thinking. Her like, yeah, there is a jewelry store up there. Who runs it? He does have a name. I just have to remember what it is. What the fuck is it? Oh, here we go. Yes, I believe the owner and primary craftsman is named Pyros. He's had that store for a long time.
Are there like any family or like friends of his who are like vaguely related to one of your students?
Pyros, sorry. Here, I'll take it. I can't say I know the man very well. We've met occasionally. The arcane schools have sometimes bought gems from him. For spells, for enchanting, for magical focuses. But I don't know him outside of a business context. Do you think he has something to do with this?
Well,
He's not a magic user himself that I'm aware of.
he did let them use his roof, so he knows who's he knows someone.
Are you telling me Kairos the jeweler told you that he let the would-be assassins hide on his roof during the assassination attempt?
He didn't do it very willingly, but
Oh, Lucius looks very skeptical right now.
Oh no!
The spell component thing made sense. This is like coming out of nowhere. He has no idea what.
it's not like
He was told no one was going to get hurt.
yeah, he was very concerned about whoever he was trying to protect.
So he told you that. Was he blackmailed into this?
No, like I thought so too, but I think it was just a favor from like a friend,
He did a favor for a friend.
or he like wants to protect them because they're from Baseus Teal.
So someone asked him if they could use his roof
Yeah,
during an attack on the Starosta in which no one would be killed.
I don't think he knew what they were actually gonna do. He just knew something was gonna happen that wasn't murder. I think.
He looks at Isaac. Do any of your students have some family connection to Kairos? She just shrugs. He's not related to any of them. That I know of. I suppose I could find out. Does anyone else know this? About Kairos and its involvement? Did you tell your
No.
contact in the Watchkeepers?
No.
No.
Why not?
Well, I guess it's all kind of moot now, but I did tell him we weren't gonna technically tell anyone else.
You're so good at this.
Interesting.
Did you tell him we weren't going to tell anyone else, or did you tell him specifically you weren't going to tell the cops?
I think
I don't
maybe
remember.
just the cops.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember
We weren't gonna
either.
tell the Melodora contact.
Told him we weren't going to tell the Crowds Guard or the Watchkeepers, so we didn't. Look
Yeah.
at us.
That's
So
true.
obvious.
We just told two very powerful wizards.
We told people who have an interest in wrapping this up quietly.
That's true. We're helping the jeweler guy.
Protecting at least the students who might be involved. So
Yeah.
Lucius is just sort of considering this. I could speak to Kairos. Although I don't know if he should know that I'm this closely involved in the investigation.
I feel
Would
like
he
that
be
would
likely
make
to
him.
talk to you?
Hmm?
Why did you guys say you both talk at the same time?
Go ahead, Ophelia.
I don't remember anymore.
I was just gonna ask if he would be likely to talk to her.
Oh, was that Alyssa,
Hydra?
Alyssa speaking, or
Yeah,
Thra?
sorry, my NPCs all sound the same. That was Elusus.
Oh, okay. Him.
But he's like the fucking like head of state, sort of. So he's like, maybe I shouldn't just go question a guy in a shady investigation. Maybe I took it. But yeah, they kind of are. Hydra is also she just kind of drinking her tea, and then she says, I can do some. I can ask around and see if any of my students have any connection to Kairos. I think we should maybe keep him out of this if we can. If we can find out what's going on without him, that's one less person we have to, I don't know, coordinate with. It's going to be difficult enough bringing all of this to light. Without the Crown's Guard knowing that we went over their heads.
We could help a little bit, maybe? Maybe
Well,
not.
what sort of suggestions do you have?
I was thinking, like, if they still have components, we could go to, like, if you give us addresses, we can go there and, like, see if the components are nearby. Not, like, obviously go into the house, but we could use our spell slots so you don't have to. I mean, our, magical ability or whatever. Our well of, our font of power.
My goddess given abilities. Well, any one of them might have some of the glass, but I suppose we could. Actually, I don't know that it would eliminate anyone, because if whoever cast the spell got rid of everything they had in the casting, then
Or if there's anyone at all that you might have, like, a base instinct on. We're not affiliated with anyone or anything, so we could keep a lookout for them. See if they, like, talk to anyone.
she sort of puts her head in her hands, and then looks at Elusus. Usually help us. I wouldn't think it of him. He's a very quiet and calm individual most of the time, very level headed. But there was that business with Evander's mother. Ah, says Elusus. I'd forgotten about that.
Enlighten us.
Well, where are the three of you from? Where do you live now, I mean? Just give me a city. I'm just trying to gauge how much you might know about this already.
To lean across the table and just put my hand over Ophelia's mouth.
Yeah, that's gonna look great.
Don't say it. I'm the only one who's lived here before, and it's been a number of years.
Yes, I guess that.
We came from Rexentrum.
Thank you. I didn't need your whole life stories. Well,
Well, it all started when I was born.
it all started when my father left Viserys Teal.
Yes. It all started when my father decided a career change was in order and began work on his magnum opus.
Oh man. Okay, he nods. Well, then you might know a little more than I would have expected if you'd lived in another part of the empire. Sorry. One day you'll find out. One day you'll learn it. Um oh fuck, what was I saying? Okay, yeah, Alucis de Win is about to tell you something very important to the plot. um I s- I said to you earlier that there are some elements of political life in Visayas Teal that are not widely known to everyone who lives here. When we agreed to become part of the Empire, part of that arrangement involved sharing of some magical knowledge with Imperial scholars, particularly the King's own royal mages, the Cerberus Assembly. There are certain people in their ranks and in the ranks of the imperial government who believe that we have held certain things back, that we are keeping some great power for ourselves. I had a student some century ago now who had a very particular, very rare skill set. It had nothing to do with the magical secrets of the elves of Visayas Teal. It, it was simply an accident of birth. She was very, very talented. Her powers made her seem a bit strange. They manifested in visibly odd ways. But she was no different from any of my other students in aptitude, She had two children. They were very young when a member of the Cerberus Assembly came to Besaestil and took Akaria, my student, away. There was no reason given. They didn't accuse her of anything. They just showed up. Went to her house. Whatever he said to her was enough to make her go quietly. She has had no contact with anyone in the city since. I've been unable to find out what happened to her. It's not something that is spoken of now, really, except by those who knew her very well. But we have mostly given up. I don't believe that she is alive. That doesn't stop me from inquiring where I can, but my influence is very limited outside of this city. Annalore's been an elf this whole time. Oh my god.
My perception is so low. I've just never noticed. If Ophelia meets her right away, she's gonna be like, "This is an elf."
Yeah, she was adopted? I don't know. Um adopted as an adult by a human family. I don't know. That would be very funny. Okay, sorry, where was I in my dramatic story? Oh yeah, okay, so she, she disappeared. You guys are making me laugh. I didn't know the rest of her family particularly well. I know that now her son, at least, is grown and is studying wizardry with Ithra. He's very young, just past 100. He started his studies late, but I believe he's far enough along to be capable of the spell that injured the Starosta. Ithra nods.
What's his name?
Evander, says Ithra. I'll take it out. Gotta spell you all my names. Hey. Evander is the student, and then his mother's name was Karia.
And what was the name of the member of the Cerberus Assembly who came?
Lucius gets a very sort of distant look on his face for a second. That would be the Martinet himself, Ludinus Deleth.
Don't like that. Could be worse. I'm like out of character. At least Right?
God, the city's about to blow up.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
I may as well tell you that, well, this is at least relatively widely known. Daleth was from Besaestil originally. And from Malaysmere before that. We studied together when we were young in the old city. We fled here. He was not content with our rustic lifestyle, with scraping by season after season to survive and slowly building a place where we could live. We left. Became a powerful wizard of mysterious origin in the Empire who helped found the Cerberus Assembly. I believe he is the sole surviving original member. There was some trouble when the Dwendalians found Besaestil and realized he had been keeping his origins a secret that whole time, but it blew over. It didn't end his career, at least. He's so fucking old. The timeline also doesn't work, and I'm mad about it. I had to like budget a little bit to do this story. Like this, I think the Cerberus. I did the math, and as far as I can tell, according to the dates in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, the Cerberus Assembly was founded before the fall of Malaysmere, but in Ludinus Daleth's like bio paragraph, it says that he was from Besaestil. So I'm like, if the Cerberus
All right.
Assembly was founded before the founding of Besaestil, how could he be from Besaestil? It's not possible. But so I'm changing the dates. The Cerberus Assembly was founded after the fall of Malaysmere, because that makes more sense. He has, well, it's more accurate to say that I have remained a thorn in his side. For he is the hunting dog, and I am the nuisance in his paw. This whole city is. I think he would like an excuse to come here and investigate our schools and our students and discredit us. And that is what I hope to avoid. But we're running out of time.
Do you think it would be more useful for you to go to Evander directly, or to send people he doesn't know?
That is the question. He looks at Aithra. Yeah, the cobalt soul beans. I think that would be the funniest option. That would be the most entertaining
Eventually,
for
the screaming
sure.
cough trick is gonna work. We're just gonna spill
Someday. Someday.
Someday. Arthur says, I don't know. I think, well, perhaps it would be good for someone who doesn't know him to keep an eye on him. It would be less conspicuous, I think, assuming she looks at Adakora.
Assuming I don't break into his house.
Assuming you were just having a bad day earlier.
I smile because that's fair.
I mean, I've known Evander a long time. He's certainly not a hardened criminal. I doubt he's expecting anyone to be following him. But perhaps he's being more cautious now.
Where could we find him?
He could be at home, he could be at the school. I can give you the names of the buildings that he usually spends time in, the particular libraries. The place where I have my office. She kind of starts listing locations, which you vaguely, you know where some of them are, but they wouldn't be hard. These are all sort of like public places that you would be able to find asking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Lenny, we're trying to visit this library.
What's this kid like?
Yeah, do you know this guy? And then she tells you where his house is. They don't have addresses probably, but she gives you directions. I don't know. um, be careful if you do see him. He's talented for his level, but he's not very powerful yet. But he could still hurt someone if pressed. No, don't kill him. She's also kind of like, please don't kill my student. He's like 18. Please don't kill him. I think not confronting him would be preferable. Maybe just see if you can find out his motives, his accomplice.
Next move.
Yes. There has to be a next move. If Kairos was assured that no one would die and then no one died, that had to be part of their plan.
Well, that's what we figured.
Which means there is a next step.
Honestly, that seems pretty likely, which is worst. Worst! You're not gonna kill a Cerberus assembly member. You're not gonna be able to interrogate him to find out where your mom is. That's not gonna happen. If I couldn't break into a Lucis Stilets associate's house, you're not gonna question Ludinus Stilets and find out anything.
Yeah, this is Ivor's house.
Yeah.
Um,
Lucis's associate's house.
I'm going in the meantime, I'm going to talk to my other students and see if any of them see him acting strangely, if they know anything about his movements. Lucis, he says, "All right, I'm expected at some meetings later today. I have to speak to the Starosta and the Watchmaster and the rest of the Dundalian Council. Just keep in touch with me if you learn anything." He's talking to Ithra specifically. They can probably cast sending. I think wizards can do that shit. I would like to keep up appearances as much as possible, but I'm allowing the proper authorities to investigate this as they prefer. But if you need help, let me know.
I do have one more question. Who is Karia's other child?
I'm about to sneeze. Hang on. I think. Oh, fuck, it's going. Oh, that's so weird when that happens. Okay. Oh my god. Karia has a daughter as well, but she never studied with us. He looks to Aether to confirm. Aether nods. No, I don't recall ever seeing her or Evander really speaking of her. They live alone. Their father died um, before Karia was taken. I know his sister lives with him, but I don't think she leaves much. Hmm. They keep to themselves, apart from Evander going to school. They do have an uncle that they're close with, but I don't think they live with him. They may have at one time, but not anymore. But he's not. I'm not sure what he does, but I don't think it's magic. I would probably know if he did.
They might have some insight anyway.
He is Karya's sister, or Karya's brother, I think. I'm not sure where he lives, though.
Well, thank you. And sorry for thinking you might have been involved in the attack and breaking into your office.
I think it's probably for the best that you did.
Real friends were the wizards we met along the way.
Ayu was looking out for me, which is ironic.
Yeah, you knows. You knows what you did. When did you break into a place?
I'm just counting the jewelry
Oh,
debacle.
that wasn't really a break-in. You just walked in there and threatened a man.
That's about the same.
It was a public store. Like, you could just go in. You didn't have to break in.
We broke into
What is it about this plot that has made us more unhinged?
I don't know. I mean, that was kind of Sahara's fault too.
I think it's the elves, to be honest. I think that we have a certain like willingness to cause chaos around elves that maybe we didn't in Hupperduke.
Maybe we're growing more confident.
Maybe. We are level 4 now, so we can fight like 3 goblins.
Are we like splitting up now? Are we like good meeting, good talk? Let's go do stuff.
Well, Lucis said he had to go, so I was kind of assuming we were wrapping up, but
That
do
was
have
that
to
was
leave.
in character.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucis has to go.
Does anyone else have? That was just my last question because I wanted to find out about the other kid.
Yeah, Icarus says, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to see which of my students are there. I'll see if I can talk to any of them about Evander, if they know anything. If I see Evander, I'll let you know. I can communicate instantly over any distance. But look in the places that I mentioned and see if you can find him.
How would you
Okay.
prefer for us to contact you?
Ooh. I can't believe Ophelia doesn't have sending yet. I have to level you guys up. This is such a pain.
Yeah, level me up now.
We should just reach level 5 by virtue of failing to break into this house.
Yeah.
Right? Milestone. Milestone leveling. Talked to wizards. Yeah, she says, okay, yeah, she says, my office is in this building. She tells you where it is. If you go to that whole area, that university complex, you can ask any of the students to take me a message if they're not busy. You'll be able to find someone who'll do it. That's probably the fastest way. actually, you know what she says? I'm just gonna do this 'cause this is easier. She pulls yeah, she's gonna give you stuff. She pulls some things out of one of her pockets. She's wearing a robe with giant pockets, probably. Um, and she pulls out no, she's gonna give it to you, Ophelia, I think. Because
I'd
you
get it
were
mixed up with my other one, and that would be
right, that would be bad. Like, whoops, and be like, why do you have two sending stones out of? What does this one do? Yeah, she gives you one half of a pair of sending stones, and these are normal ass sending stones. So it's like the sending spell once per day, I think. They're not the souped up spy sending stones. I am sorry to say. But yeah, she gives you directions on how to use them.
Thank
It's a very
you.
special rock.
I'm sure if you were a rock, Torkel would have taught it to you too.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Harsh.
I'm gonna look them up. I think it's like a once per day thing.
Yeah, I think the rule on mine is also once per day, although I did forget about that.
No, yours are special.
Mine are special, but I think we still said I could only use it once per day.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. You usually don't use it more than once per day, though. So
I usually don't. I think maybe once I did use it twice in a day. I don't think it's something I've done often, but I just forgot.
The
But
regular.
yeah, just looking through my notes, and I
Okay.
was like, oh, that says I can only use it once per day.
one unlimited phone call per day. Um, okay, yeah. One sending is cast through the stones that can't be used again until last dawn. So yeah, so she says basically only one of us can initiate the spell per day, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, if I need to contact you, I'm not going to use the stones. I'm just going to use the spell. But if you need to contact me, just use the stones. But it's a one time thing. But then she can like send back to you if you need, if she has to say more or whatever once you've initiated the conversation with the stones.
Okay. When we're like all ready to go, is there anything else we want to go over? I'm gonna guess no. So like in the interest of full disclosure, because you've been nice to us and we're kind of dicks. I'm affiliated with the Cobalt Soul, and someone is probably coming tomorrow. And when
Adakora just
choking on his tea.
when the Cobalt Soul goes somewhere, usually the Cerberus assembly isn't too far behind, so I wouldn't really hold your breath. Anyway, nice talking to you. We'll try to figure out what happened. Goodbye.
All right, says Ithra. It's like, cool.
Man.
Alright.
It's probably going to take them a little longer than a day to get here, though, from the Soul, because it took you guys like 5 days.
Did, yeah.
They're probably, one expositor could probably get here faster if they're just like riding a horse and not in a wagon with 4 people.
That's true.
But it's going to be a few days, probably. They're not going to be here tomorrow.
That's okay. I don't need to correct myself.
Unfortunately, the Cerberus Assembly may beat them here on account of the teleporting. It's really just, if they decide to come here, they'll just be here instantly. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay.
Wizards are the worst. We're the best, depending on whose side they're on. Okay, so I'm probably gonna end it there with everyone heading their separate ways.